Very good morning wherever you're watching us from, despite the chilly morning in the capital city and everywhere else. I trust you well and you're right on time for Kirk in the morning. Here we have conversations that matter, the conversation that include the state of the nation. Of course, we will be talking about matters to do with the 2023-2024 budget reading, appropriation of funds to different sectors, the education getting the biggest share of the 3.6 trillion budget read by CS Treasury Njuguna Ndongo yesterday at the Parliament. Of course, that will be building our conversation, but amidst that, that is what the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition says, that we will not buy into this budget because the finance bill that is expected to push for funds that will enable the utilization of the budget appropriation. Then the Azimio la Umoja says they will not be supporting the finance bill. The second reading of the finance bill sailed through with members of Parliament of the Kenya Kwanza coalition and some from the Azimio coalition voting in favor of the bill. 81 of those members of Parliament voting against that particular bill. What next for the Azimio la Umoja coalition, if at all that finance bill 2023 sails through in Parliament? That is what the Azimio party leader Raila Odinga said, that they may be forced to call the people for them to reject that particular bill. All that is what builds our conversation this morning. But wherever you are watching us from, remember we are streaming live on Facebook at Kirk TV Kenya, on YouTube at Kirk TV Kenya, and my name is Chris Sambo, and in the next 2 hours I'll be keeping you company. Later on in the program we'll be having our guest artist in the studio. You don't want to miss that because we have an amazing guest for you. But before all that, it is conversation that matter, the conversation that deal with the state of the nation. But as we always do, first things first, let's get to the roads and see what is happening right about now. It's quite a chilly morning, so I'll take you quick through what is happening on the roads in case you're in traffic, or rather in case you're about to leave your home, and which roads you need to avoid and which roads you need to follow. Let me just give you a quick glimpse of what the roads look like this morning. Let's begin with Thika Road. Of course, Thika Road is a bit clean this morning, but when you get around that area of Muthaiga, all the way from Kenya Utalii College through to Muthaiga, the junction connecting Kiambu Road and Muthaiga, there is quite a big heavy snarl up. Kiambu Road right doesn't look so much good this morning. So if you're using Thika Road, then you can be able to use alternative ways to get to the central business district, because when you get past Utalii College, right about before you get to Muthaiga, there is heavy traffic there. But all the way Thika Road looks so much clean, no report of any heavy traffic snarl up. And just looking at what the CBD looks like before you take a look at yet another major road, the CBD doesn't look so much good because I can see a lot of movements, people trying to enter in the central business district using their vehicles, some of them walking. Of course, the map here tells me that there is a heavy traffic flow in the central business district. So if you can be able to avoid the CBD as well, then that will be of great importance this morning. Let's take a look at what Jogoo Road looks like. Jogoo Road doesn't look so much bad as you head towards the central business district. Different small snarl-ups at different points, but the traffic is moving. No heavy traffic. There is a bit of flow right there, but as you get into the central business district just after Burma Market, then it doesn't look so much good because I can see there is a heavy traffic, of course, due to the thinness of the road right about there. So if you're using Jogoo Road, then up until Nairobi City Stadium, everything is quite clean. Traffic flow very smooth despite some different snarl up. Let's take a look at what Jogoo Road looks like. And Jogoo Road looks quite clear this morning. A little bit of a traffic snarl up at different points, but As you descend down Langata Road through to Nyayo National Stadium, all the way connecting to Mombasa Road, doesn't look so much good. There is heavy traffic there, especially at the roundabout descending from Nyayo National Stadium to Bunyala Road. Doesn't look so much good. Also connecting to Lusaka Road. So if you're using Langata Road, then you can be sure to avoid that particular route. If you can use an alternative route, then you can avoid the Nyayo National Stadium, Bunyala Road, Lusaka Junction Road. Mombasa Road doesn't look so much bad. There is a traffic flowing very well. Maybe after you get past South Sea, that is where now you get a little bit of a traffic. Of course, also linking up to the Nyayo National Stadium roundabout there. That is where there is a little bit of a traffic, and when you pass there, a little bit of a traffic as you get into the Central Business District at the Haile Selassie Avenue. That is what Mombasa Road looks like. Let's take a look at what Ngong Road looks like. It doesn't look so much bad, but I can see a little bit of traffic snarl-ups at different points, of course, being necessitated by the traffic lights and in those junctions at Ngong Road. So if you're using Ngong Road, it's quite clear this morning traffic flow, despite the different snarl-ups at different points of traffic lights. That is what the roads look like this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated in case anything happens, because we keep an eye as we continue with our broadcast this morning on what exactly is happening on different roads. But just to inform you, the major roads except Thika Super Highway and also Jogoo Road, all other roads look quite clear, especially Mombasa Road, which looks clean this morning, and quite surprising. Ngong Road also looks so much good. Jogoo Road doesn't look so much good, especially after the City Stadium. Thika Road, as usual, the Muthaiga traffic hotspot is where everything stands still, a heavy traffic flow. Of course, that is what is happening on the roads. And up next, we'll be taking a look at what the newspapers have written this morning. There is much that has been reported in regards to the 3.6 trillion budget reading that was done by CS Treasury Professor Njuguna Ndung'u yesterday in Parliament. Questions arising on who are the winners and the losers of that particular budget. But as a matter of fact, education got a big share of the budget. Of course, ranging about 626 billion, health sector getting 140 billion, infrastructure being allocated 428 billion shillings. Of course, we'll be debunking on those numbers in a few with my guests in studio. They're already in our premises. We'll be coming back shortly to talk about the newspaper, review, as well as get into our conversations this morning. So don't go far away. We'll be coming back in a short while with our conversation on the state of the nation, the maiden Ruto budget.
There are many changes that are happening in the society we are living in. Generations come with your own things, so things will come and go, but the word of God will stand. And if you're not rooted in the word, or if your principles or standards are set by the society, you will never be firm. If your standards are set in the word, you know the word says no to this. So no matter the changes that there are, or no matter how people might try to persuade or convince you otherwise about a certain thing that you know really shouldn't be done, you will be able to stand your ground with justification, because you can't just hold on to something without something that is backing it up.
John Maxwell once said, "A reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader. Are you ready for Israel? PCEA Communication Department is pleased to inform all presbyteries, parishes, churches, congregations and friends of its annual trip to Israel. The trip will take place from the 5th to 14th of November 2023. The trip to Israel through Egypt will include visit sites like the Pyramid, Mara, the Hanging Church, the Burning Bush, Mount Sinai, and then to Israel through the Suez Canal and visit sites like the Dead Sea, Kibbutz, the Manger, the Temptation Mountain, Gethsemane, Old Jerusalem, Caesarea Park, St. Peter's in Galgantu, Emmaus, Capernaum, Jordan River, Galilee, among others. The charges are $2,050 US. You can pay in 4 installments of $513 US. The deadline for payment is the 31st of August 2023. For payment, the account is PCEA Jitegemea Press 03100002196 dollar account Family Bank. To join us on this annual trip to Israel, for booking and more information, call 0716 289 443. PCEA Sacco Limited is a fast-growing sacco in Kenya that has served its members for over 30 years. A trusted name in savings and loans, registered with the Kenyan government in 1985 and regulated by SASRA. Built on Christian values, we hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity. Our professional and friendly team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. With over 4,000 active members and an asset base exceeding over a billion Kenya shillings, PCEA Sacco is a place to be. Consistent dividends, strong base capital exceeding a billion Kenya shillings, prompt dividend disbursement, efficient loan processing are some of the reasons as to why you need to join PCEA Sacco Limited. We pride in a wide, friendly range of loan products, including normal loans, Rudy Tender Plus loans, emergency loans, Neokole mobile loans, amongst others. We equally offer other facilities including asset financing, solar installation, fixed deposit facilities, among others. We are located at the PCEA head office, South C, Nairobi. For more information, please reach us through 0720-403-460 or 0792-633-308. PCEA Sacco Limited, your pathway to financial success.
There are many changes that are happening in the society we are living in. Generations come with your own things, so things will come and go, but the word of God will stand. And if you're not rooted in the word, or if your principles or standards are set by the society, you will never be firm. If your standards are set in the word, you know the word says no to this. So no matter the changes that there are, or no matter how people might try to persuade or convince you otherwise about a certain thing that you know really shouldn't be done, you will be able to stand your ground with justification, because you can't just hold on to something without something that is backing it up.
Next on Legends.
I was ordained on November 28, 1965. It was not easy, but the call to the ministry superseded all this. And again, after that, I found, oh yes, this is really the thing for my life.
gutaukwo uria Ngai arenda nawe rimwe no wage kwerewa ni ati Ngai arenda na muturire waku no uririkanage ati hau uri ni kiambiriria ndurataukwo rucio uri guikara no Ngai ni oikirikiriro giaku uria kihana na ni oy muturire waku uri hana Ngai akuhe roho wake hena wira waku wa kuruta na moko macio maku tondu Ngai arathimaga wira wa moko mamo wira wa moko ma mundu moko mau maku Ngai ekurathima riumagariro riaku Ngai ekurathima wira wa moko maku Ngai arathime thithino yaku ona kumwe ni kubatanagia nginya gaita thakame nigetha urutwo riri-ini umwe utwarwo riri-ini uria ungi no ngiuga ati tondu ndina roho ngoikara haha ati Ngai ni aheaga andu ake gia kuria ona metoro ukuhutira hau.
Now we know circumstances when a thank you comes naturally. When God has done you well. When a prayer you've offered has been answered. When a miracle has happened. We say you're a miracle working God. Because a miracle has happened. And thanksgiving comes naturally when the hand of God has moved in your favor. When good things happen, we are ready to raise up a song of praise. We raise up a shout to the Lord to celebrate the praise report naturally.
There are many changes that are happening in the society we are living in. Generations come with your own things, so things will come and go, but the word of God will stand. And if you're not rooted in the word, or if your principles or standards are set by the society, you will never be firm. If your standards are set in the word, you know the word says no to this. So no matter the changes that there are, or no matter how people might try to persuade or convince you otherwise about a certain thing that you know really shouldn't be done, you will be able to stand your ground with justification, because you can't just hold on to something without something that is backing it up.
John Maxwell once said, a reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader. Are you ready for Israel?
PCEA Communication Department
Is pleased to inform all presbyteries, parishes, churches, congregations and friends of its annual trip to Israel.
The trip will take place from the 5th to 14th of November 2023. The trip to Israel through Egypt will include visit sites like the Pyramid, Mara, the Hanging Church, the Burning Bush, Mount Sinai, and then to Israel through the Suez Canal and visit sites like the Dead Sea, Kibbutz, the Manger, the Temptation Mountain, Gethsemane, Old Jerusalem, Caesarea Park, St. Peter's in Galgantu, Emmaus, Capernaum, Jordan River, Galilee, among others. The charges are $2,050 US. You can pay in 4 installments of $513 US. The deadline for payments is the 31st of August 2023. For payment, the account is PCEA Jitegemea Press 03100002196 dollar account Family Bank. To join us on this annual trip to Israel, for booking and more information, call 0716 289 4.
Alright, very good morning. In case you're joining us, you're right on time and back again on our conversation this morning, right on here on Kirk in the Morning. Of course, talking matters to do with the state of the nation as well as the state of the country's economy. Of course, we refer to what happened yesterday. CS Treasury Professor Njuguna Ndung'u reading a 3.6 trillion budget, for the country. What does it mean for the country as we head into another financial year, the maiden budget for the Ruto government? That is what we'll be talking with my guest in studio, leading our conversation this morning. And I will be introducing them right about now. And right on my near right is Watima Kelly, who is a politician and also a youth leader. Karibu sana this morning.
Asante sana Bwana Chris. Thank you for having us this morning to discuss this important matter, not only to us but to the nation as a whole. So asante.
Good to see you this morning. And on my far right is Eric Ragalo, he's also a political analyst. Ragalo, karibu sana this morning.
Thank you so much. And to the viewers on Kirk TV, ni wakati tutajadiliana mambo na tuambiane ukweli.
Exactly. I love how you say.
You know, there is someone anasema ni wakati wa kusema ukweli.
Kuambiana ukweli.
The truthful men of this country.
All right, and I think that's a good point to kickstart our conversation this morning. And I was looking at the papers this morning, and they're all breaking down what exactly happened yesterday in regards to the budget reading. And even as you look at the top pages, they're talking about the allocations, the winners, the losers. Just to begin with you, Kelly, what would you make of the 3.6 trillion budget that was read yesterday?
I would call it an ambitious budget. As my friend here said, our president, our deputy president, they call themselves the truthful men. Watu wa kupenda ukweli. And I want us to tell them the truth this morning. Before they came into power, actually, when you are gearing to the election of 2022, when Uhuru was doing his last budget of 3.37 trillion, we saw most of them coming out attacking the former president, telling him that he doesn't understand the pain of Kenyans, that he doesn't understand what Kenyans are going through. And they told hustlers they have a plan, and their plan was bottom up, meaning they were coming to take care of the interest of the hustlers, the mama mbogas and the boda bodas. But to our surprise, yesterday, whatever we saw, it was actually the opposite of what they were talking about. They condemned Uhuru for coming with 3.3, and then they're coming with 3.67 trillion. So for me, that one spells a very tough time ahead of us as a country, as a nation, and as a people. Even as you can see in the dailies, one of them says budget pain and reward. I think the pain is more than the reward, as we're going to see.
Than the reward.
Yeah, as we're going to see in the breakdown.
Okay.
Thank you.
Agalo, he's talking about the pain is more than the reward. What do you make of, 3.6 trillion, of course, they're talking about, the government is talking about, this is what we need, if at all, we have to have a bright future. Is that your position, or what do you make of that particular budget?
Well, the budget was read, and it was read for the country and for the people of Kenya. The budget was not meant for Ugandans, not Tanzanians. But the budget was meant for those people who voted Kenya Kwanza and those people who didn't vote Kenya Kwanza. But as the budget is, there were winners and losers. The biggest loser is the hustler. The biggest winner is the dynasty. That one has to be told to the hustlers who think that this is their government. The biggest winners is the dynasty. The biggest loser is the hustler. The biggest winner is the dynasty because the dynasty owns the manufacturing companies. The hustler owns what? Nothing. So the hustler is the one who works in the civil service that is going to have job cuts. So the hustler is the person who needs a health care from the government, and the health care has been cut down. Cutting down health care really hurts so much because a healthy nation is a working nation, and providence comes from health. Okay? And as it is said, joto hutoka kwa tumbo. Meaning you eat well, you become healthy, your body become energetic. Joto does not mean really the heat, but nguvu za kimwili. So now infrastructure is cut down. So the roads, people everywhere want roads. But roads that are going to be done are the roads that had been eye-marked by the former regimes. The Kibaki roads that never finished, if there is any, and Uhuru roads that, of course, they are there, Mau Mau and all the others. The one that goes all the way to Nyeri to Maroa, Maroa, the junction that goes to Nyanyuki. Those roads are going to be finished. But any other road may stall. So people will have to wait. Then energy, grid, people mashambani in the countryside, there will be no new electricity because what is going to be done is the ones that were earmarked. Because again, the government had already done the deals, treasury bonds placed. So if they don't, they're going to be charged anyway. So you have to finish because you lose. The government will lose more if they don't finish. So they have to finish what was started. But this government have nothing to start. So the losers here is the Mama Mboga, who thought that his grocery is going to be a manufacturing company for Zesta, for example. So the dynasty will remain dynastic. The losers are going to be painfully poor. I've seen women and youth raising that they are going to raise 25,000. They're going to pay them 25,000 to those people who are going to get interns. Well, not bad. I don't have anything to talk about on that because that is normal. What is the government for? For those people who finish school, what else do you expect? They need to get somewhere to restart their life. So that is not even part of the budget. It should be a normal occurrence. It's a basic. Here you're giving basic pads, visodo, to girls. Do you remember when you give pads to girls, do you give panties to boys?
A big question.
True. You're giving pads to girls. We are seated here. We are boys. Who is checking on a boy child? Who is thinking of men enterprise fund? Well, it is all women enterprise fund. You go to a bank today, it's very easy for a man not to get a loan. Very easy for a woman to get a loan. Because the discrepancies that are placed on the boy are so much than the girl. So you're giving the girl the pad, but you're giving the boy nothing. It has always been about a girl. when one girl becomes number one, and it's only one girl, girls have beaten boys. There's a time a girl became number one in Kenya. I don't remember her name. She was roaming around anaitwa nani huyu jamaa wa Ruiru, Mwaura. He was roaming around with Mwaura. When that girl became number one, it was as if the whole umati of girls became number one. It was girl child beat boy child. And it was only one. So the issue of drumming support so much to a girl, not looking at what the boy child is going through, is what we keep discussing at Mount Kenya. Watu wanalewa pombe. Pombe si mbaya bwana. Even changa is not bad. Who said changa is bad? We were raised by fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers who are taking that changa. And it's being taken even now in Mount Kenya. I mean in Nyanza and Western. And changa is taken more than alcohol is taken in Western. Look at statistics. Western drink more alcohol than Mount Kenya. But you hear a lot of noise in Mount Kenya that they are taking too much alcohol. There is no much alcohol being taken in Mount Kenya. Actually, Mount Kenya becomes number 3 after Western, then Coast, then Mount Kenya.
So you must cut in between a balance of each and every region.
You cut a balance. Don't overpump everything to a girl, then you leave the boy. It is going to hurt the society, and that is what is happening. Even on budgetary here, and it's written women and youth. Where is man?
It is assumed that the youth is the man.
Oh, the youth is the man. Women and youth.
The assumption,
where women and youth? Where is the man? Mwanaume ameachwa kuteseke, akunywe pombe zake. Affordable housing, well, this is more painful.
Very painful.
This is more painful. They started. It's going to be a fund. It is going to be an organization of people coming together. Then you build houses, then a fund. Then now it is a tax. I don't want it. You tax me, but remember, I never wanted it. I have nothing I can do, because for you to put this in law, you're going to tax me either way. But remember, I never wanted this tax. So you take my money, build it, patia wenye utapatia. Some of us don't really care whoever you'll give. Security. This is a wrong. A big wrong. If you feed people well, you give them health care, you provided infrastructure, energy, everything that is on the other side of loser, you don't need security. Go abroad. Do we have fences? Go to Norway, go to Americas, go to Britain's. Do we have fence? A wall, a barbed wire on top, there is a wire, sorry, then electricity running around. Do you have that? It is found in Karen. Do you have fence in Mathare?
Not at all. Electric.
Why? Because they are balanced. See what they are doing now. So utaiba ya nani? But the Karen guy will have such a fence. Why? Because he's fearing the guy in Kibera who can enter Karen from any side. The Lavington guy has it because he fears the guy in Kawangware. You understand? Every ghetto has a fence. The Runda guy has it because he's fearing the guy in Gedogoro. The Buruburu guy will have it because he fears the guy on the other side, Mathare or this other side. So these fences, this security we are talking about, is there because of the negative on this side. Education, it's a must. It has to have a lot of money, get employment. That one I have nothing to talk about. But you cannot raise education and we lose on health. So the sick person will still go to school. The sick teacher will come to teach. This thing should be balanced. Either way, this was meant to entice the youth and women. Because Kenya is becoming more matriarchal than patriarchal. Anything women say goes. Even this government was put by ladies who were singing, Tokera tene, Tokera tene. That is what they did. Now I don't know whether they are saying Tokera tene tukafanye kazi. So this government is not an honest government. It has hurt Kenyans. It's still hurting Kenyans. And the papers are writing hard times Yes. There will be no employment. They have written there. They have cut down employment. So vijana
And
mukule veve, mukunywe pombe.
sadly, they are not cutting employment for themselves. They are cutting employment for the Kenyans. The vijana, the wananchi. Because when you look at the cabinet itself, the constitution provides between 14 to 21 cabinet secretaries. So the president has
24.
to 24. The president has that power to choose any number between that. So if the president was really caring about the people of Kenya, first of all, you could have cut the number of cabinet secretaries that you are having. Even 14 is enough.
To that 14.
Yeah, 14 is enough. Number two, in the same cabinet, we saw people call the cabinet administrative secretaries 50, in a tune of 50. Uhuru had 21, right? But he came up with a double figure to a tune of 50. Come to the PSs, you only have 24 ministries, but the PSs are 50. So you ask yourself, why the bloated cabinet? If indeed you care for the Kenyan and the Mwananchi. And then here you are, coming to the Mwananchi again, as you are told here, civil servants to lose some jobs there. So that means not the cabinet secretaries, not the PSS, but from the PSS down, somewhere there, some people lose their jobs. What is the intention of that? Are we really growing the economy as we promised, or we are taking it down? So I think that is in itself is dishonesty to the Kenyan people and the Kenyan population. On the side of winners, I can see the affordable housing as a part of winners. I don't know how that is a winner for us. I think it is a winner for the government, and the contractors will be paid to do those jobs, but not for Kenyans. Because first and foremost, the economic conditions at the moment, we are post-COVID, we are post-election, and now we have the Ukraine war, as they call it. So the economic conditions are tough. And then here we are coming up with another tax. Now we know that it's a tax. They were playing with us that it is a contribution, oh, blah, blah, you'll get interest, etc. But now they have resulted to say it is a tax of 1.5%. So it is 1.5% on the employer side and 1.1% from the employee. So in total, that is 3%. So 30% deduction from my salary, if I'm earning less, for example, 30,000, that is a lot of money. Because that alone can help me get a packet of unga that they promised it will go down, and now it's at 250. So I've lost a packet of unga already from that contribution or from that tax. And that tax itself, we can call it an illegal tax. Why? Because housing as a function is a function of the national government. Is a function of the county government, sorry, not the national government. Housing. In as much as we are appreciating the fact that Kenyans need houses, more so in these urban areas, we need houses, affordable houses, but that function is devolved to the counties. But we are seeing the national government taking that function and really pushing for that function. Why? We ask yourself why. Why don't they leave it to the county governments to take care of the housing situation, depending on their populations? So they are here forcing, and they have brought it in the budget. The budget is read and passed in Parliament, the National Assembly, and not the Senate. So in itself, that is an illegality, because the Senate will never debate the budget. The Parliament will. So if this is a function of the county government, and the senators are not even going to debate about it, that is an illegality in itself. But they're still pushing for it. Again, they're making it to be something that it is a must for you to contribute. Because a tax, you cannot say, I cannot contribute a tax. It will be deducted, lazima itolewe, right? So you're making it a must for me to build a house that I'll not use it. Because we know these houses will not be given to everyone.
Of course, they can't.
They'll be given to a few people. In as much as you're calling them 250 units, I don't know how many people will be given those houses. Not all of us will be given those houses. And not all of us need those houses. Some of us have our own houses. Some of us are happy to live in rental houses, right? So why are you forcing us to come and contribute towards housing? For me, I would go the Uhuru way. When these houses began, Uhuru never told anyone to contribute na lazima. What we had, like I know of a station of Bomayangu along Park Road, you go to their site, it's called Bomayangu, you register if you're interested, and then you start contributing in your own capacity. And then at the end of it all, when you reach a maximum of 300,000, you are able to be allocated a house when it is finished. That was a project of Uhuru that we knew. But now this one, the Hustler government has come and told us, no, it's going to be a must for everyone. Why are you forcing it to us? That is the question.
That's a big question. And when you talk about forcing it on the Kenyan people, of course, there have been a backlash of that, and that is what necessitated the reduction of the percentage. But just coming to you, Ragalo, he's talking about, you know, various things being forced on the throat of Kenyans, and the feeling has not been so much good. The government is also talking about we need to, you know, fasten our belts in this tough situation. For us to revive the economy, we need to make certain measures such as those. Is the government now in the right trajectory, in your opinion?
Forcing things on people does not make people work well. A society is grown by a people who sit together and work out things. The smallest unit of a society is a family. If you are that husband who tells people things must be done my way, you will have a family, but you will not have a home. You know, there's a difference. You will not have a home. You will have a house, but you will not have peace. So that is what Kenya is going to be. You force people into contributing into this housing fund. Let me call it your housing fund, because it was not Kenya's housing fund. I remember during Moi's time, there were latrines being made initially, and this is now, so this is more educational now. People were defecating anywhere in the bushes. So what happened? The government came up with a program of creating latrines, and it became forceful that you have to have a latrine. So watu wakaanza kusema tunajenga choo za serikali. But people will create those choo but still defecate in the bushes. It was true. Until such a time serikali realized, we need to work with the people so that they give us. When you're doing research, thesis, when you're putting your paperwork in research, there's what we call community involvement. You go to the community, the chief, the baraza, the leaders, you bring them together, you talk to them so that your research can be owned by the community. You understand? Well, this thing is not owned by Kenyans. The paper said 93% of Kenyans have refused housing fund. What does that tell the government? Hii ni nyumba zako unajijengea. Utazipatia watu unataka. What the government wanted is very easy. They wanted to raise money. To raise money is to hit it on Kenyans hook or crook. So they had to bring this 1.5%, which was going to be 3% if you're going to be, the money was going to be returned to you, if at all that was going to happen. But now it is 1.5% non-refundable. So you're creating houses for people. First thing first, how many homesteads do we have in Kenya? I'll give an example. Maybe we have, let me use the Bible number, 144,000 homesteads. Okay? A good house for one homestead should be around now a 7-bedroom. Because the mother, the father, the children, now I'm gaining a nanny. I'm giving you a normal house now, a homestead, not a family of 2 kids. Now this is a homestead, a 7-bedroom house, which could cost around 40 million. So 40 million times 144,000. These are the houses Kenyans should be getting. So now, I come from a homestead. You need to come to, we give you a homestead name, you give us a house. That is one. I contribute, my wife contributes. Those are 2 houses. Okay? You need to give me my 2 houses because my money is already there. This thing is going to bring a lot of war in the government with the people. And I'm telling you, the government will know. This is hii ni kujinyonga. They are putting a noose in their head. Reduction of workers. Under the IMF proposal, one thing the government should have done and must do was to reduce workers in the government. IMF did the same thing if we go back to history again. During Moi's time, you remember Telcom. You remember the golden handshake. For Kenya to get any money, one thing was to be done. One, privatize government, some of the government sector properties. One was them that was to be privatized was Posta. So Posta was to be divided from Posta and telecommunication. Okay? It was Kitambo, it was Posta and telecommunication. So telecommunication was to remove from Posta. And came the golden handshake. People were paid and Posta was removed. Those people died. You're given money as early as 50 years. Where are you going? Which job is there waiting for you? And during Moi's time, anyway, people are not being employed. So these guys got job, money. With the money that was already being taxed, the same money you had a loan in a bank, it is being slashed, all of it. So some people went home with 40,000. And this is the money you're going to eat until you're 99 years. Because there's no whole number like 100, I'm just giving 99. So at 99 years. So that people died. So right now, what IMF is doing is exactly what IMF did during Moi's time. For us to help you reduce number of workers. So they are cutting down workers. For us to help you privatize governments, institutions. You saw the list that came out, even they wanted to privatize universities. They wanted to privatize universities. Those things will happen. Because actually, we are under control. Our control is in IMF. And this budget is not our budget, it's IMF budget. We are working with the regulation of your funder. IMF want to work with Kenya and they have to give, why is BRICS bad? Why is BRICS bad? Why don't we go BRICS? Because I don't see Kenyans surviving this thing. Here you want to create jobs. Here you are sucking people from jobs. And when you sack someone from a job, you are killing families. So you'd rather not employ people, maintain these people, but find a way, the way those people can invest. The Kibaki way. Now I'm coming to now from Moi to Kibaki. Kibaki didn't suck. Kibaki came with economic stimulus package. He decided, I'm going to lower interest rates. Ruto increased interest rates. Kibaki lowered something called treasury bonds. Ruto treasury bonds have hit skyrocketing high. Kibaki said, I'm going to strengthen the Kenya shilling. Ruto, Kenya shilling has weakened the biggest. Kenya shilling is doing 150 selling to the dollar. It's buying to the dollar, and 140. 2 days ago, I left it 139.70 selling to the dollar. The pound is doing 180. Uhuru left it 125. So, Kenyans, if the treasury bills are not low, you're not going to do business. For you to do business with the government, you have to go buy treasury bonds when you're doing tendering. Your tenders are going to be way, way expensive. the products we are going to buy will be very expensive. We will start thinking government is stealing, and kumbe the treasury bonds are very high. T-bills. 2, we are having a problem with loans. The loans are going to be way, way expensive. 3, we are not going to make business. We are not going to employ people. So what Kibaki did, he came down, reduced T-bills, reduced what do you call this? Buying rates. I mean loan rates, and people were able to enter and take loans. The mamambogas were able to spread around. The Watuandudhi were able to spread around. When Kibaki was taking the government, people were cycling. Ulikuwa unachukuliwa na boda. Baiskeli zilikuwa zinainama hivi. Then Kibaki zero rated. Piki-piki. Piki-piki started coming. People can get piki-piki loans by the time Kibaki was living. So transportation became easier. Now, of course, we are saying we're going to bring the 1-year steamer, but we are going to kill the grids. You know, this is funny. Energy, we are killing the grids. Hakuna stima zinaongezeka mashinani, lakini unawaletea pikipiki za stima, waende wacharge na meno. You know, waende wacharge na meno. You know, this government is lying to people. This government is just like, we need to be honest here. Angesema, because nawaletea pikipiki za stima, I'm not using vehicle, because vehicle must be in town. Pikipiki ya stima. Nita make sure kila boma wako na stima ya kucharge pikipiki yako. The grids should be many.
I think that's a fair point, because the owners of the boda average Kenyans also need the necessity of electricity.
But now you are cutting electricity.
You are cutting.
And when you talk about what they are trying to do in terms of reviving the economy, they are talking about a bigger thing, that is the debt that we are having, that we need to fasten our belts.
We don't have a debt.
No?
And just to comment on that, I call it a crying government. These are just crying government, crying kids. Why? When Kibaki, you mentioned Kibaki, when he took over from Moi, actually the economy was worse.
It was negative.
It was negative.
At least wanasema walipata ikiwa mbaya, lakini si negative.
The GDP was down, investment was down,
everything
was down. Kibaki never cried even a single day in a public rally telling people, I inherited a dilapidated economy.
Nor did Kibaki take them to Nyayo Stadium to pray.
Exactly. Kibaki sat down, did his economy, and the country rose. So when Uhuru took over, he did his best, the country also rose. You are told it grew, the GDP grew during his time to 16%.
Yes.
Where Kibaki had left at 10, around 10.9, during Uhuru's time, it was at 16%. And now when these people are coming in, the first thing they do is to look behind and see, hey, we had no plan. We had no agenda for Kenyan, for the Kenyans. And I'll clearly tell you why they have no agenda. They look behind and say, hey, Nikubaya, what do we do? Let's bring the politics of the day. Empty coffers.
Mungiki, empty coffers, Raila,
I don't know. No, we gave you a job, and we're demanding you to do that job. I'm saying they have no agenda, because when you look at everything they started when they took over, there's nothing new they have begun. Even this housing project that they are pushing, really pushing, it was a Uhuru project. Most of the roads they are doing at the moment, all of them were from Uhuru's government. The only thing they had in their mind was the hustler fund. Which, in my own opinion, the hustler fund, I don't see it benefiting majority of the Kenyans. Because as things are now, I have people and friends who are taking loans for hustler fund, not to do a business, but to buy bread, to buy that packet of unga. While the intention was to make sure people are taking up loans and they are doing business with it. But now, the opposite is true. No one is taking loans to do the business, but to feed their children and their people. So the only agenda they had is a hustler fund. And when you look at the way it was hurried, it was done in a hurry. They never planned well on how people are going to receive this fund, on how people are going to make sure, they are going to make sure people are using it the right way, as in to do the business, and also repay. You know, there is one thing taking a loan, and there is another thing paying the loan. So the only agenda that I had is that one. But the rest of the things that we are seeing even in the budget now, it is from the Uhuru's government. So for me, I think they should stop crying and get back to business. You've talked about employment. Apart from sending people home, they have also introduced something called the VAT tax, from 8% now to 16%. That in itself is a loss of employment. Ask me how.
How?
The cost of living is going to
Be way high.
to be way high. At the moment, it's a 7.5. The VAT on petroleum products has risen. That one will also cost, it will cause the cost of living to go higher. Now, to the manufacturers, as we are talking now, we know that electricity is already high. Walisema watashukisha, only for them to make it higher than it was. And now they're bringing this called VAT at 16%. That means using electricity is expensive, using petroleum products to produce it is expensive. So as a manufacturer, what will I do? I'll have to play around with my workforce. I have to play around with other factors of production. So with my workforce, I have to lay some employees off so that I'm able to meet the cost of production, especially electricity and petroleum. So that in itself is not creating employment, as they're saying. It's not making the economy. They're saying reviving the economy. That is not reviving the economy, but killing the economy.
We are talking about a 3.6 trillion budget and a target of around 2.2 trillion, 2.3 trillion for the KRA. Where are we going to get this money from for us to fund this budget?
Brother, first of all, you asked about debt. Do you know we don't have debt?
What do we have?
We're actually debt-free. Have you ever thought that when you were born, you were told debt, when it's never being paid? And it's always adding. No one tells you, we subtract this, the last government did this. Have you ever thought, nobody has ever told you debt inapunguanga? Even you have a debt. Kwani upunguzangi yako? This government, the last time I heard, we had a debt to about 8 trillion. But do you know by the time Uhuru was leaving, we had a debt of 2 trillion. So who paid those? But they are telling you our debt is so high. Nobody will ever tell you that debt has been paid. So you want to tell me Uhuru aliruka debt za Kibaki?
No.
Kibaki inherited Moi's debt. So Kibaki hakuzilipa?
He had to.
He had to. Why are Kenyans ever lied to? You want to tell me Uhuru, who took over loans za Kibaki, he never paid? He paid.
In fact,
the debt we had, and this government took 2 billion debt, 2 trillion debt, sorry. So there is no debt crisis. Let's not be lied to. There is no debt crisis. Yes.
So where are we going to get all this money, to fund this budget? Because there were claims.
If you balance your arithmetic well, we could still work with last financial year's budget. Very easy. Because if there is no debt, what do? You don't overspend or you don't overborrow because there is no debt. Play around with the money that you raise as a government. What Kibaki did, Kibaki made sure Kenyans work. And Kibaki played the KRA game. Everywhere Kibaki went, there was one word being used. Kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. Kulipa ushuru. You could see Rao paying his debt, his KRA. Kibaki was signing. Everyone in the government would be shown doing it. So you'll be told everyone must do it. Then there was what we call performance contracting. You are paid because you perform, and you go the next level because of your performance. So you'll be given target. You meet target, unapata. So people were enticed to work hard. And people wanted to, who doesn't want to get goodies? So people were getting, their work was paying according to what they have done. So people were also paying this KRA thing. And KRA was also enticed, and companies. You remember, before Safaricom was #1 taxpayers, we had Kenya Breweries. We used to have that day, the tax day, where it was 4 or something, where unakuta Kenya Breweries, then walikuwa napewa kikombe. Na ilikuwa ni tunaonyeshwa kwa TV, this is the best, nini nini. It came to a point, the government was actually advertising for these companies. Everyone wanted to work for Kenya Breweries. Because one, they are paying well, they are giving housing. You could hear people, ukifanyia brewer, that was a Sheng brewer, brewer wanakulipa poa, unapata housing, medical iko fiti, nini nini. Kila mtu anataka kufanya kazi, brewer. If you remember the Sheng name, brewer. Then Safaricom came, others came, Bidco, nini. Chandaria used to get the best CEO, if you remember. So everyone was running to get the best. So companies were paying KRA and paying their rebates, so because they were being given commendations. Now Shada Merali came, then the Bidco company came, and I'm giving a history of how companies were enticed to pay. Then came now politics. Right now, Safaricom, politician decides who becomes the CEO
and who becomes the chairman.
And who becomes the chairman. KCB, who becomes the CEO, who becomes the chairman. During Kibaki's time, I'm still going back to Kibaki's time, there was competitive running for these seats. And the people who owns these companies, these are shareholders, would do voting to get the chairman. You'd remember a meeting ya nini wanapiga kura, literally kura, inachagua chairman. Right now kunanga kura. Chairman ni kelele.
In a boardroom somewhere.
Ask you a question. Someone left KCB, went and put a lot of money in Safaricom and became the biggest shareholder, became the chairman. All of a sudden, one of the big lawyers in Kenya, he left KCB as a chairman, went to Safaricom and became a chairman. How does that happen in 1 year?
Incredible.
Incredible. That's what I'm telling you. Some of these things kill the morale and the production of companies. So companies will fall. 2, morale of Kenyans. It is more social. When Kibaki took government, he told us tufanye kazi. Twende pamoja. Ulikuwa unaona unashika karao, wewe unachukua nini? Hongo. Ulikuwa unaona watu walikuwa shule tulikuwa naita wasudi. Wasudi ni mtu anapenda kusema wengine. Kenyans became watu wa kusemana. That is how our government grows. Enda majuu eke ngoma. Hai. Boom, boom, boom. Utaambiwa unaleta noise. Na watapigia 99. There's a guy here noise making. Na utashikwa. So watu wanasemana. Because people want peace. So peace comes with such a thing. So now, sahi uende isema mtu, ukisema mtu uende uko kwa ngori. So watu wakaacha. So watu morali liisha. So what Kenyan government need to do? Psych the Kenyans.
Psych Kenyans.
Psych Kenyans.
For them to pay taxes.
Yes, for them. But don't tell them, if you don't pay tax, nitakufanyia hivi. Si utengeneze kamiti mingi.
And I want to agree with my brother here. I think Kenyans are tired. Kenyans are no longer motivated to paying tax. In fact, they're motivated to evade tax.
Yes.
You know why? Because of the wastage that we are seeing in the country and in the executive, to be exact, and to some extent the parliament. You are making us to pay the taxes, and you are doing it faithfully, But at the end of the day, we're not seeing the value for our money, the value for our taxes. I was talking to a friend, she lives in South Africa. She was telling me, here we are paying to a maximum of 40 tax. But we're doing it cheerfully, as the Bible says, giving cheerfully. They are doing it cheerfully
because the roads
because
they can see.
They can see the fruits of that tax. They are saying education is free.
It's free. Roads are
Health
very
is
good.
free. The roads are very good.
Very good. I've been there.
So even if they are paying that a lot of money, but they are seeing their product, their result, no one will cry. But now in our country, things are pathetic. We are paying.
What he's saying is true. You pay tax for in the Kibaki government, but it's free primary education, and you can see. You can see Kimani Maruge hustling his mind to read what he's never read, and to write his name for the first time. You can see. You are not being told. You are actually seeing it. You are actually seeing chokoras going to NYS. Unaona wakibebwa tao, walikuwa na bebwa. Wanaingizwa NYS. Cha lazima mtu aenda kilia. Ulikuwa unaona. Ulikuwa unaona magari zimeundwa, zimejengwa, zimeletwa mpya za prisoners. Waache kwenda na mazile malori. Prisoners walikuwa nakaa kwa basi wakipelekwa. Ulikuwa unaona blanketi zimenunuliwa za prison na mattresses. Si ati huko unaona, tuliona. Bro, tuliona. Unajua nasema vitu bro, tuliona. So, ukilipa tax unaona pili kuna bro, kuna sister, kuna shosho yangu, kuna madhangu, amefungwa prison, alikosea lakini ni Mkenya, amepewa mattress. Moruru yake imechange, chakula at least ni poa. Unaona, amepewa blanketi. Neti ziko za malaria. Hosi wanapelekwa. Ulikuwa unaona bro. Ulikuwa unaona hapa hivi tao machokosh wamebebwa wote wamepelekwa NYS. After miezi 8 amepewa wera. Umeona. Then let huo chokosh anarudi anamaliza NYS anajipata army. Yeye ni army. Ulikuwa unaona. You know these things we saw, and that's why people cheerfully paid.
So you have
it is more social. What my brother is saying, go back to you. I was just meaning your point.
So when the government start doing these things, they'll never force Kenyans to give or to pay taxes. We'll just be motivated because we are seeing the fruits of it, right? I'm seeing here they've given KRA around 2.19 trillion as a target for this year. I don't think it will be achieved. Because number one, we said Kenyans are demotivated, but are motivated to evade. And with these taxes that are brought, a lot of them, the 3% housing, I don't know, the 16% on Nini, and then there's a 15% on media, there's 12% on sporting and betting. It makes things more harder for both companies and Kenyans. So, if you raise taxes, there are those businesses that will survive and there are those that will die, right? So if majority, which are smaller, they're saying here they're supporting the SMEs in the Hustler Fund, majority which are the SMEs are going to die.
Let me, now SMEs, let me put up something. What is SME? Small and medium. How small is small? How medium is medium? What is the turnover of an SME? Do you know they have put in the finance bill, and this is to the SMEs, that their turnover is going to be taxed at 3%, higher from 1% the Uhuru time. 3% taxation. They have increased NHIF on you. NHIF is paid dual, the employer, the employee. They have put a 1.5% on the employer, on the employee, which is done monthly. Okay? Okay? And if it is a betting company, you need to pay Mshindi in 24 hours. I'm just telling them the way this thing is. So now, if your money, and then your money is going to be taxed so much, and if you are an exporter, they have increased 17% on your export duty. So that your exportation from Kenya abroad becomes expensive. So you're not able to export, but you need to sell it locally. And some things selling locally are very hard. You are competing with who? The major shareholders of this country. Let me give you an example. You are producing cement. No, you're producing chuma. You want to compete with the guru, mini guru, not the guru, but he's called Guru, the owner of this company, Chuma Devki. He's called Guru. So how do you compete Guru in export? Then because it's so high, you need to use it locally. But Guru is the one supplying Chuma as a housing fund. Are you seeing? Chuma za housing fund zitapeanwa kwa Guru. I'm telling you, wait and see. Guru will be the one peana chuma, barbed wire, misumari ni Guru. So wewe chuma zako utauzia nani? Aya, you are producer, unataka kuproduce kitu inaitwa chumvi. Unataka kushindana na Magadi. Magadi is Tata company, internationally owned. Utauza chumvi wapi? So sometimes some people look for market outside because of such. It is going to be hard. People are not going to make business here. People are going to fail in business. You've raised taxation in everything by 16%. Itaenda kufinya watu.
Yeah. So kumalizia tu, cut me short. So when you do the taxation, raising taxation, so eventually, within the first, second, and third month, as we are saying, the smaller group down here, most of them will be out of market. So the following fourth month, where are you going to get these taxes? And you've already scrapped them out of
market.
So in my own view, I don't think KRA will be able to achieve the 2.19 trillion. So they'll have to go back to the external market to borrow loans. And also to borrow internally. In itself, in this budget, they have said they're going to borrow around 700 billion externally and internally. So I think they'll go for more because KRA will not be able to raise all these monies within a year. Yeah.
And before, because I'm told we have around 10-15 minutes, let's talk about the necessity of the budget. Of course, there's that finance bill that has been tabled in Parliament, which is the one now steering the budget that we had yesterday. We saw what the opposition talked about yesterday. We saw them even walk out of Parliament, even as the CS Treasury, Njuguna Ndongo, was addressing, regarding the budget. And their position was, this budget is being appropriated money that we do not have, and the push for the finance bill that will not necessarily raise that amount is what we are opposing. What do you make of the opposition's concerns regarding these are things that we are talking about, how we are going to fund our economy, but they are unrealistic to our opinion. What do you make of the opposition's concerns?
I think the opposition's concerns are valid because of some reasons that we've discussed here. The budget is two-way. Actually, when you look at the budget, it's around 400 billion extra to what Uhuru had. So we are going to raise another 400 billion. I don't know from where, I don't know, I'm not sure. So the opposition is very right in saying that they are not supporting this bill, and by all means this bill should be failed. But again, that is going to be impossible because they have already demonstrated in the third reading when we had around 176 MPs voting for it. I think the opposition have heard what the ground is saying. They have heard what the ground is saying. But now the other side, they have heard what the ground is saying, but they're choosing to ignore it. Why are they ignoring it? Because of some power somewhere. I was listening to someone saying that our parliament actually has no authority as we speak. It is under capture. Should we call it state capture? Because most of them are not thinking in their own minds. they are thinking, they are instructed from somewhere that this is the way you should do things, this is the way you should go. So, in as much as opposition is opposing to this bill, me naona tu ikipita, because at the end of the day, they'll come to numbers voting. And we've already seen, apart from one MP that I really love her spirit, Wamshomba from...
It was Wamshomba and Elijah Njoroge, the only two Mount Kenya MPs who said no.
Who said no, because they've had the ground. I don't know where the rest are living, the rest of the Kenya Kwanza MPs, I don't know where they're living. Probably they're living in another world, but not Kenya. So I admire the two because they said no. Sisi tumesikiliza ground na ground inasema no. But now the rest of them, wamesikiliza state house na state house imesema yes, they have to pass the bill. So that is the danger that we are in as a country. The opposition will try, but I know at the end of the day, the majority will have their way. Yeah, the opposition has said if they lose in parliament, probably they'll go back to the streets and maybe in courts. I would advise them to actually go to courts and follow Omkio Omtata. Another leader that I admire. In front of the president, he said, no, this bill is going to hurt Kenyans. I'm going to fight it. I would want even the opposition to go that way and fight this bill also in courts. Because when we say we go back to the street, in as much as we are going to, again to Mwananchi is already suffering. And when we go back to the streets, we are not sure if we'll be heard. We are not sure if we'll be heard. And we know how maandamano are in this country. They are usually peaceful until the police start to demonstrate. You see? So we are not sure. If they go to the streets, we'll get the answers. We are not sure. So I would really pray that they go to court and tackle this issue from there. Because that bill, when you look at it legally, there are some clauses that are not legal. That, like the one I mentioned for housing, it's not supposed to be that bill. Supposed to be in the Senate. So even that bill itself, if they go to the courts, they might be able to be heard. So I think that is the only viable way for them to tackle this issue.
And when you talk about not going to the streets, as you know, Chief Raila Odinga, said that we will come back to you, and you should not tire and you should not abandon the mission. And we all know what the mission is. So is that the right way? Is it time for the people now to make it even heavier than the first phase of the people's power?
Thank you. Before I come to your answer, you asked him about the privileges. I'm asking myself, where has the government done research and realized there will be a locust? What do you call what happened in Egypt? Locust pandemic, or what was it?
The locusts.
Whatever. Just call it pandemic.
The time of
the old Bible time, the time of Moses,
the time of Moses,
when the locusts just caused havoc.
Yeah.
Because in this budget, there's the parables.
Yeah.
Do we have a parable of locust coming? Because in this budget, there was 2.8 billion locust mitigation. I don't know. And that
I think you've raised a very valid concern. There's also another 3 billion COVID response.
Yes.
So I was like, are these people anticipating COVID to be around the corner?
So let me tell you, brother, those two issues. One, COVID. COVID may never come back, as it were, but it is going to be with us forever. Okay? Why? It is a viral infection. It is going to be seasonal COVID flu, which is there. Right now, we have COVID has gone up. And then COVID will go down. It will be seasonal COVID flu. Okay? That one, they should know how to mitigate it under the Ministry of Health. Become part of the Ministry of Health budget, not as COVID alone. Okay? Did you hear them talk about HIV?
Not at all.
Why? It is naturally under the Ministry of Health. These are programs that run seamlessly. TB, HIV, seamlessly. So COVID should be done like that. Are they talking about malaria, which kills more than COVID?
No.
No. Diarrhea diseases, actually, which is equally high, no. Then why take COVID so special? And we already know COVID will be a season of flu. So let it be part of it. Otherwise, maybe you want to bring us masks again, or what happened the other day in Kemsa. So these locusts, what will happen if the locusts are not there? Are you going to create locusts so that the money gets lost? Because it's already budgeted for, and we are anticipating locusts.
Maybe they are somewhere breeding.
And if locusts didn't come, what will happen? So again, when he talked a bit about housing. When housing was done in Singapore during the time of Lee Kuan Yew, the guy who wrote the Singapore story, Singapore was not at the level of Kenya. What is the GDP per capita for anybody in Kenya? How much was the GDP per capita per person, domestic GDP per capita per person in Singapore when they started the housing project? Because this government loves statistics. They love showing us the way they are learned. They forget these guys are talking to the goons who are learned more. The statistics in Singapore was already stable. They were at second world. South Africa have done housing project in Soweto and other places. When they were doing housing in South Africa, what was the GDP domestic per capita per person in South Africa? Okay? How much is the lowest person paid in South Africa? South Africa, a person working, earning salary, is earning 100 and something thousand per month. How much is the person lowest working in the government? Because we normally say in the government, because the person who is employed lowest is actually under a certain job group in the government. The lowest job group in the government ni pesa ngapi? Utapata 10,000 na kitu.
Actually 15.
Actually from 10,000.
From 10,000, a job group. And that's why when the government was giving their paper, they were saying 10,000 atakata 150. Who brought that out? It is the government. So they know their lowest person is paid 10,000. And that is the person you want to tax to have a house. Then he'll be paying for that house. So those people, they knew what they were doing. They raised the standard of their people. Fast. That was what Kibaki was doing. He was raising standards. So that by the time I'm bringing new houses, your standards are here, you can manage. But here someone is running with a project and the standards are very low. So Singapore was not as Kenya, nor was South Africa. So you asked your question, a question, very, very nice question. Sorry, I forgot it.
The fact that there's no coalition is saying that they must return to the people. Is that the...
Sometimes I hear what the old saying goes. Mtoto akililia wembe mpe. Akishajichoma. Ama mtoto akishajikata akuje ndo utamwambia wembe inaumiza. Sometimes I will differ with my leader Raila and tell Raila, sometime relax, let the people hurt. Let them just hurt. These people, you've helped them to get a new constitution. You helped them to change Section 2A. These people, you've been with them in the street to change their lives. Their lives change, you don't change. When you change their life, you tell them, now give me leadership, I lead you to the better place. They tell you, wewe ni mzee sana. Oh, mara tutavaa vinyasa. Oh, mara nini. And they threw you out, the kid with the basin and water. The other day, you decided, no, let's have a calm country and work together. They said, oh, you went to eat. And that's how uko unawatetea. So they punished you because you kept quiet when they were suffering. But when you were with them in the street suffering with them and asked them for vote, they still threw you out. So what do you do to them? I mean, Baba, so wachane tu nao wa Kenya. If I were Baba, myself, Eric Ragalo, I'll keep quiet. I'll want them to go to the streets alone. I'll follow them when they're already there. Because organizing them, and the other thing I want to add here, when you say we are going to have Mandamano, then there's a group coming from Mount Kenya here that think they make more money during that day than any other day in Kenya. Now I'm asking that group, are you becoming wealthier now? Because anytime ya Mandamano, hey, biashara yetu ndio inaharibika, sisi mahaso na biashara yetu ndio tumefuga, tunakula nini? Hear them. Hear them. You understand? That Mandamano helps them. But when Mandamano is called, they come saying the way biashara imeharibika, Raila anaua biashara. This thing is not killing biashara. That's what I'm saying, Raila. Leave them. Let this thing they put their neck on, iwanyonge wao. Then, after they are so tired, let them ask you, the way we did Baba when you were away. We were accusing them to you, telling you what they have done to us. That time will come. But now, leave Mandamano. You are able to stay calmly and peacefully. Let them hurt.
It reminded me, I came across a social clip that someone was saying, wacha tukufe tu pole pole.
Wacha tukufe kipole, si pole pole, kipole. You know, I wonder.
I want to agree with my brother, and this is a sad reality to accept as a Kenyan. They say leaders are a reflection of the society. When we see our leaders in parliament and in the executive and even judiciary, the way they are behaving, that is the way Kenyans behave. We Kenyans behave. How do we behave? We are hypocrites. He has said it. Whenever things are tough, in the government, in the economy,
Raila come out.
Raila come out.
Come out.
And fight.
Come out.
And fight for us.
Yes.
And true to his word and his love for the country and for the people, he will come. And will lead us in that struggle, will pursue it and win. He has mentioned several. After that struggle, the same old man comes and says, now I'll deliver you to Canaan. We say, no.
You put crocodiles.
No, you are too old. Let's give the young guys. We give the young guys in 2013. You saw what happened. Until
now.
The handshake, until now. We cry and say, Baba, 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 where are you? Come to 2022, here is an election. Baba is saying now, give me this thing, nimalize kazi. I fought for you from 1992. I want to finish. But as a president, making sure everything is okay in the country. What did we do? Now things are tough again.
Baba kuja.
I think it is high time Baba rested. Akae Karen. Aangalie vile mambo inaendelea. Let Kenyans themselves, me and you, say enough is enough.
We get out. Then Baba
and
will
go to Karen.
Baba will
and
meet
tell
us
Baba we are ready. And then he will lead us.
Right, I'm told here our time is up, but I'll take 1 minute or two for us to have a parting shot. Just as to conclude, Ragalo, your parting shot in regards to the entire conversation.
Kenyans are getting what they wanted. When you go to the market to prepare dinner, you buy all the recipes and the meal that you're going to make. Ukieka chumvi nyingi, it is still your meal. You'll have to eat it that way. If you want to add water on it, it depends on you. We went to vote. We were given options and told even by the former president how we should go. Some of us refused. Some of us just decided not to vote. Millions of them, over 7 million, decided not to wake up. So we are having what we wanted to have. Now I would say the way ulisikia mtu akisema, me Eric Ragala, I'm ready. Whatever tax will come, I'll pay. Me niko wale wanasema, I never wanted it, but since it's the one that is there, tutaendelea nayo. I am not going to go to the street again. Even if I'm called by Raila, I will not go. I am one of those people who believe mwenye alikuwa nataka kisu ikimdunga mkate aliitaka mwenyewe. I'll go to the street when I see it is necessary to help Kenyans, but not when Kenyans are crying over what they wanted. I will not. And I'm bitter. Some people say I'm bitter. I am actually bitter because uliambiwa ile maji ni inaenda haraka na hiyo river ni deep, usitumbukia na ukatumbukia, then unatoa mkono wakati unamezwa na maji unafariki. Sitakutoa, fariki uende. That is where we are. So if people are going to be shaved from work, civil servants, watoke waende wherever they'll go. We are not going to go to the street because of them. Me, I'm not. Trust me. I've been to the street, but this one, I'm not going.
You have said no.
No.
Kelly, your final comments. Like you're speaking like is depicting the attitude when you wrong someone and then they know you've wronged them, but they tell you, niko sawa. But you know you've wronged them, so it's hurting you more than you think because it's just saying niko sawa. Kelly,
I think I'll finish by this headline. It is saying hard times ahead. I think Kenyans, we should prepare for hard times ahead. Because we made our choice, and every choice has a consequence. So we be prepared to live with our consequences for the next 4 years, 3-4 years. And as we do so, I think this should be a learning time for all of us, so that come 2027, we make the right choices, not only at the top, but from beginning from down here, the MCAs to the top. The reason I'm saying this is because the only person or the only institution that can save us at this time is the parliament. And we've all seen that the parliament is already gone. It is captured.
Judiciary went kitambo.
Judiciary went. So the only institution that we're depending on is the parliament, and is also going. So we have no hope. Kenyans, we have no hope until
2027.
Tungangane tu, tupambane na hali zetu. 2027 ikifika, let's not commit the same mistakes we committed in 2022.
All right. But I'm telling Kenyans, usilie unga, so chukua mahindi usiage. Usilie unga, chukua mahindi wekele kwa mawe, in Luo we call it pong. Then usiage kwa mawe. Yeah, we used to do that. I don't know why people must eat shifted unga. So usiage unga. Na kusiaga ni shilingi 10.
Let me clarify this.
In few seconds.
In few seconds. People should not call me a prophet of hope. I'm just saying we eat our hard herbs, because even the president says, mpende, msipende. Itakuwa hivyo.
And that's how it is. Right, and that is where we're going to end up this particular conversation. Of course, you can go on and on and on, but I'm told our time is up and we need to get done with this conversation. Thank you so much, Watima Kelly. He's a politician and also a youth advocate. Thank you so much for making time this morning. And Eric Ragalo is a political analyst. Thank you so much for also making time to be here this morning. Quite an incisive conversation, matters to do with the state of the nation. And you, the viewer, who has been watching this particular session of our conversation this morning, thank you so much for tuning in. But the show is still not over. We will be coming back with our Entertainment Friday in a short while. But we're done with the state of the nation, state of the economy, and what does the country look like at this particular moment. Don't go far away. We take a very short commercial break, but when we return back, it's our entertainment segment this Friday.
John Maxwell once said, a reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader.
Are you ready for Israel? PCEA Communication Department is pleased to inform all presbyteries, parishes, churches, congregations and friends of its annual trip to Israel. The trip will take place from the 5th to 14th of November 2023. The trip to Israel through Egypt will include visit sites like the Pyramid, Mara, the Hanging Church, the Burning Bush, Mount Sinai, and then to Israel through the Suez Canal and visit sites like the Dead Sea, Kibbutz, the Manger, the Temptation Mountain, Gethsemane, Old Jerusalem, Caesarea Park, St. Peter's in Galgantu, Emmaus, Capernaum, Jordan River, Galilee, among others. The charges are $2,050 US. You can pay in 4 installments of $513 US. The deadline for payment is the 31st of August 2023. For payment, the account is PCEA Jitegemea Press 03100002196 dollar account Family Bank. To join us on this annual trip to Israel, for booking and more information, call 0716 289 443. PCEA Sacco Limited is a fast-growing Sacco in Kenya that has served its members for over 30 years. A trusted name in savings and loans, registered with the Kenyan government in 1985 and regulated by SASRA. Built on Christian values, we hold ourselves to the high standards of integrity. Our professional and friendly team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. With over 4,000 active members and an asset base exceeding over $1 billion Kenya shillings, PCEA Sacco is a place to be. Consistent dividends, strong base capital exceeding $1 billion Kenya shillings, prompt dividend disbursement, efficient loan processing are some of the reasons as to why you need to join PCEA Sacco Limited. We pride in a wide, friendly range of loan products, including normal loans, Rudi Tender Plus loans, emergency loans, Neokole mobile loans, amongst others. We equally offer other facilities including asset financing, solar installation, fixed deposit facilities, among others. We are located at the PCEA head office, South C, Nairobi. For more information, please reach us through 0720-403-460 or 0792-633-308. PCEA Sacco Limited, your pathway to financial success.
There are many changes that are happening in the society we are living in. Generations come with your own things, so things will come and go, but the word of God will stand. And if you're not rooted in the word, or if your principles or standards are set by the society, you will never be firm. If your standards are set in the word, you know the word says no to this. So you, no matter the changes that there are, or no matter how people might try to persuade or convince you otherwise about a certain thing that you know really shouldn't be done, you will be able to stand your ground with justification, because you can't just hold on to something without something that is backing it up.
Next on Legends.
I was ordained on November 28, 1965. It was not easy, but the call to the ministry superseded all this. And again, after that, I found, oh yes, this is really the thing for my life.
rimwe no wage gutaukwo uria Ngai arenda nawe, rimwe no wage kwerewa ni atia Ngai arenda na muturire waku, no uririkanage ati hau uri ni kiambiriria ndurataukwo rucio uria ruguikara, no Ngai ni oĩ kĩrĩkĩrĩro gĩaku uria kihana na ni oĩ muturire waku uria hana. Ngai akuhe roho wake, hena wira waku wa kuruta na moko macio maku, tondu Ngai arathimaga wira wa moko mamo, wira wa moko ma mundu, moko mau maku. Ngai ekurathima riumagariro riaku, Ngai ekurathima wira wa moko maku, Ngai arathime thithino yaku, ona kumwe ni kubatanagia kinya gaita thakame nigetha urutwo riri-ini umwe utwarwo riri-ini uria ungi. No ngiuga ati tondu ndina roho ngoikara haha ati Ngai ni aheaga andu ake gia kuria ona metoro ukuhutira hau.
Now we know circumstances when a thank you comes naturally. When God has done you well. When a prayer you've offered has been answered. When a miracle has happened. We say you're a miracle working God. Because a miracle has happened. And thanksgiving comes naturally when the hand of God has moved in your favor. When good things happen, we are ready to raise up a song of praise. We raise up a shout to the Lord to celebrate the praise report naturally.
Next on Legends.
I was ordained on November 28, 1965. It was not easy, but the call to the ministry superseded all this. And again, after that, I found, oh yes, this is really the thing for my life.
rimwe no wage gutaukwo uria Ngai arenda nawe, rimwe no wage kwerewa ni atia Ngai arenda na muturire waku, no uririkanage ati hau uri ni kiambiriria ndurataukwo rucio uria ruguikara, no Ngai ni oĩ kĩrĩkĩrĩro gĩaku uria kihana na ni oĩ muturire waku uria hana. Ngai akuhe roho wake, hena wira waku wa kuruta na moko macio maku, tondu Ngai arathimaga wira wa moko mamo, wira wa moko ma mundu, moko mau maku. Ngai ekurathima riumagariro riaku, Ngai ekurathima wira wa moko maku, Ngai arathime thithino yaku, ona kumwe ni kubatanagia kinya gaita thakame nigetha urutwo riri-ini umwe utwarwo riri-ini uria ungi. No ngiuga ati tondu ndina roho ngoikara haha ati Ngai ni aheaga andu ake gia kuria ona metoro ukuhutira hau.
Now we know circumstances when a thank you comes naturally. When God has done you well. When a prayer you've offered has been answered. When a miracle has happened. We say you're a miracle working God. Because a miracle has happened. And thanksgiving comes naturally when the hand of God has moved in your favor. When good things happen, we are ready to raise up a song of praise. We raise up a shout to the Lord to celebrate the praise report naturally.
Uyalipishe mabaya kwa mema, we mwenzangu wewe. Leo kwangu, kesho kwako, nenda zako wewe.
Tenda wema wewe, nenda zako wewe. Tenda, malipo yapo. Wenye wivu kweli hawaendelei. Wacha wivu wewe, nenda zako wewe. Unafiki wa nini? Kiburi cha nini? Masengenyo ya nini? Nenda zako wewe. Unafiki wa nini? Kiburi cha nini? Majivuno ya nini? Yatakwisha tu.
Tembea mwenzako mema wewe, tenda wema, nenda zako wewe. Uyalipishe mabaya kwa mema, we mwenzangu wewe. Leo kwangu, kesho kwako, nenda zako wewe.
Adui yako muombe sana, na muombea Mungu ambadilishe. Jirani yako simshuhudie uongo. Tenda wema wewe, nenda zako wewe. Wacha unafiki, wacha chuki, vitina vya nini? Nenda zako wewe. Wacha unafiki, wacha chuki, maringo ya nini? Yatakwisha tu.
Tembea mwenzako mema wewe, tenda wema, nenda zako wewe. Uyalipishe mabaya kwa mema, we mwenzangu wewe. Leo kwangu, kesho kwako, nenda zako wewe. Tembea mwenzako mema wewe, tenda wema, nenda zako wewe. Uyalipishe mabaya kwa mema, we mwenzangu wewe. Leo kwangu, kesho kwako, nenda zako wewe.
Hey, tenda wema, nenda zako. That's the message of the song. Karibu tena Kirk in the morning. Of course, tunajumuika na msanii, our guest artist, Professor Mwamba.
Yeah.
Good to see you, bwana.
Nashukuru sana.
Karibu sana kwenye studio zetu.
Asante sana. Nimefurahia kufika mahali hapa.
Tuongelee ngoma ambayo imeisha. Kabla ujiintroduce kwa Wakenya na watazamaji wetu na people that are watching. Tuambie kuhusu tenda wema. Unajua tunasikia hapo tenda wema, nenda zako. Masengenyo, majivuno, nenda.
Tenda wema ni wimbo ambao niko pale kanisani, mchungaji akahubiri kuhusu kutenda. Alafu hiyo message ikanikujia. Nikasema huu ujumbe sitakaa nao. At least fanyia mtu mema, maana malipo Mwenyezi Mungu ndiye analipa. Usifanye kitu kizuri ukitarajia tu wanadamu ndio watakulipa. Tenda wema, yani nenda zako. Jiondoe, ukishafanya mazuri, we jiondoe, baraka za Mungu ziko na zitakuja.
Na kuingilia tenda wema, hiyo ni kitu ambayo we encounter in our daily lives. Lazima tupatane na mambo ya wakati unafanyia mtu wema lakini unataka sifa. Kwanza kabisa kwa watazamaji ambao hawajai kuona, ambao hawajai kutazama, hawajai sikia muziki zako, kwa sababu wapo hujui nani anatazama. Tuambie Professor Mwamba ni nani?
Professor Mwamba ni mwimbaji wa nyimbo za Injili. Natoka kule Western. Naishi hapa Nairobi hapa Eastleigh. Professor ni majina ambayo yametoka katika vipengee, ndipo nikawa nimejulikana kama Profesa Mwamba, but majina kamili naitwa Godfrey.
Godfrey?
Yeah. Mwana wa Ingo. Wakati nimekuwa pale shuleni, nilikuwa mtunzi wa mashairi high school. Nikatunga wimbo ambao shairi ambalo lilikuwa linaitwa Mwamba. Wakati hilo shairi limetoa pale, tukaenda music festival likashinda. Watoto shuleni wakaanza kuniita Mwamba kwa sababu mimi ndio niwapatia shairi Mwamba. Mwamba likabaki pale shuleni. Wakati nimekuwa pia pale kanisani nyumbani, nilikuwa pia mwalimu wa Sunday school. Natungia watoto mashairi, nyimbo. Tukawa tunaenda pia mashindano ya watoto wa shule Sunday school. Na kuna kinukuu kimoja, wimbo ulikuwa na kinukuu cha mwisho kulikuwa kinaitwa Mwamba. Professor. Then ile pia watoto tukapatia kanisa letu ushindi. Watoto wakaanza kuniita professor. Pia professor ikatoka pale kanisani. Sasa nikashika ile professor na Mwamba, ikabaki kawa Professor Mwamba.
Ikakuwa Professor Mwamba.
Yeah.
Hatari sana. Professor, tuongelee muziki wako sasa. Muziki wako nasikia kwamba ngoma pia umepiga ngoma kadhaa kali kama hiyo ambayo imetoka, ngoma ambazo pia za kumtukuza Mungu na pia za kuwafurahisha watu.
Yeah.
Tuongelee safari yako ya muziki, ukaanza muziki lini na safari yako imekuaje?
Nilianza kuimba nikiwa shuleni. Nilikuwa pia nikiwa pale kwa assembly. Nachaguliwa tu naimba, naongoza kwa assembly. Yaani mimi mwenyewe nasikia tu ile najitolea tu. Safari yangu ya muziki ilianzia pale shuleni, pia kanisani, wakati nimekuwa pia mwalimu katika kikundi cha kwaya kiongozi. Na pia kuanza kuingia wakati nimekuja Nairobi nikimaliza masomo yangu kule nyumbani. Pia nikajiunga kwa kanisa, pia nikawa nimechaguliwa kuwa kiongozi pale. Na on 2018 ndio niliingia studio na kuanza kurekodi my first audio, fanyiwa pa EMB kwa Bahati. Pia producer Paulo pale, hiyo Tenda Wema ndiye amenifanyia pale. Hiyo 2018 mwisho nikaingia pia nikafanya video. Na nikawa pia nimeendelea mpaka wa sasa. Safari yangu ya muziki imekuwa hivyo na haijakuwa kazi rahisi. Wengine wanasema muziki ni rahisi, lakini ni kitu ya kujituma. Ukijituma na uweke maombi mbele na umuombe Mungu, mambo yako inakuwa tu sawa sawa.
Ukizungumzia muziki wako imekuwa nzuri na changamoto, though kuna changamoto and challenges, lakini imekuwa sawa. Kuna ile umesema kwamba ulipiga audio na mwisho ukapiga video. Kuna ile aspect ya kwamba muziki wa gospel autoi mapato yenye yanafaa kulingana na ule usanii wako. Yaani what you invest sio ile kitu ambayo unapata kama output. Kwako wewe imekuwa vipi?
Challenges zimekuwa. Na unajua muziki wa gospel, wakati unaimba hiyo gospel ni njia moja ya kuhudumu. Ni kama unahubiri injili. Unajua gospel na secular hata ukipiga gospel utaenda ufanye show, lakini gospel kama umejituma na ukajua ni gospel ni kama unahubiri injili. Na challenges lazima utapitia. Lazima utahitaji audio quality mzuri, utahitaji video producer mzuri, pia utahitaji kifedha za kujituma na kufanya mambo mengi, interviews kila mahali, kutembea na kujituma. Challenges ziko.
Na tukiongelea kuhusu muziki wako na kwamba huduma si lazima ufocus kwanza na yale mapato kwa wingi, lakini ile huduma ambayo unafanya. Lakini kama yale mapato yatokani na muziki, utawezaje kukuwa consistent kutoa zile muziki zako?
Hiyo ndio challenge inakumbanga wasanii wengi. Na unapata msanii ameanza na gospel, baadaye ana quit, anaingia kwa secular. Kwa sababu unajua gospel lazima pia nimesema nikisema kujituma. Na pia lazima upate qualities za muziki na pia kupata zile mialiko na kufanya hiyo huduma ndio uweze kusonga. Unapata msanii ameanza na gospel vizuri, baadaye anakuita anaingia secular. Kwa sababu secular unajua unaweza tuenda kuperform, yani kufanya mahali popote pale. Lakini kama ni mtu wa gospel lazima pia unyenyekee. Na umuombe Mungu. Yaani unyenyekee kila mahali hapo unapoenda, unamuomba, unapiga goti. Unaambia Mungu, hii ni huduma ambayo unafanya. Nahitaji Bwana uniweke katika kiwango kingine. Ukiwa na maombi na hiyo imani, mambo yako yanaenda tu polepole shwari.
Na challenge nyingine kubwa ambayo inakumba wasanii ni kuandika muziki ambazo zitahudumu na pia zitawafurahisha watu. Wewe kwako wewe nimeona sitawapa dozi ya ngoma yako mpya, lakini tuongelee kuandika kwako kwa muziki. Unaandika kuhudumu na pia unaandika kuburudisha. What do you look for? Yaani unazingatia nini wakati unaandika ngoma yako, na wewe unaandikaga muziki yako vipi?
Muziki wangu huwa naandika muziki nikijua muziki nikiimba utabariki mtu fulani. Na pia huwa naandika pengine nikiwa katika kwa umati ama nikiwa kanisani ama kwa congregation yoyote, nisikie ujumbe pengine mtu yote amesema, huwa nabaki na huo ujumbe. Kwa mfano nasema tenda wema. Hiyo kitu hata unaweza ni ujumbe ukiimba, yule mtu ataweza kusikia na aweza barikiwa na aweze pengine kubadilishwa. Huu wimbo unasema hivi kweli. Kuna watu pengine nimefanya mtu hajanitendea wema. Lakini Biblia inasema, wewe tenda wema, nenda zako. Nyimbo zangu huwa naandika nikijua kuna ujumbe mahali fulani. Kila wimbo uko na ujumbe wake. Ukiniona hivi, mimi katika historia yangu nimepata accident 4 times, mara 3. Hata ukiniona hapa niko na hii alama. Hii alama nilishikwa na wale mashifters, Al-Shabaab kule Mpeketoni. Najua mimi nafanya biashara ya kutransport hapa na pale, nafanya maembe business. So nilipata hii accident na nikavamiwa hapa. So ajali ya kwanza nimepata kule Lamu, ajali ya pili nimepata hapo Mwingi. Tukaanguka na gari. Ajali ya 3 nimepata Mombasa Road. Na gari nikiwa kwa gari tukagongana na ilikuwa tukagonga nyuma ya trailer. Tena ya ajali nyingine tena gari ya mazote tena ikatugonga na tukaanguka. So unaambia Mungu, pengine Mungu kuna kitu nimeepusha katika ajali ama katika kifo ili ni hudumu, ili niwatumikie watu. Kuna ule mwito ya kuhubiri Injili. So unapata nyimbo zangu zingine ziko na ile ujumbe messages. Hata kama napata accident, kuna pia nyimbo zinatoka katika mahali hapo.
Unapata ufunuo kutokana na experiences ambazo wewe unapitia.
Yeah.
Alright. I think kuna ngoma yako moja umetoa Kenya moja. Kenya moja, tuambie kuhusu ngoma Kenya moja.
Ngoma Kenya moja, wakati tulikuwa na uchaguzi katika taifa letu la Kenya, nikapiga goti nikaambia Mungu, hii uchaguzi naona watu wameingia tension hivi na hivi na hivi. Lakini sisi ni watu ambao tunaomba Mungu na tuko na imani. Tunaomba Mungu hii Kenya tukue na amani. Hii Kenya, maana tutashinda hii vita ukabila yote. Tunataka tuwe na amani. Hata kama watu wanalia saa hii hivi mambo mengi, lakini ile maombi yetu Mungu tayari alishajibu. Mambo ilifanyika hivi na tuko na amani, maana bado tunasonga mbele. Ndio nikaandika huu wimbo Kenya, tunaiombea Kenya. Tunaiombea taifa, tuwe na amani, tuwe na upendo. Ndio wimbo ambao unaitwa Kenya moja.
Kenya moja. Producer, sijui kama tuko na Kenya moja tucheze. Twende Kenya moja, cheza Kenya moja tusikize.
Amoro pedo ja Kenya.
Melo Music Empire. En mor mokalo. En ilo mopong' thich. Anto aja Kenya.
Kenya, 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 nchi yangu. Najivunia kuwa Mkenya. Najivunia kuwa Mkenya. Viongozi wote tutangaze upendo. Wanasiasa wote tutangaze amani. Wanasiasa wote tutangaze amani. Naiombea Kenya nchi yangu. Naiombea Kenya nchi yangu. Huu mwaka mama kweli utukumbuke.
Tutashinda vita tukiwa na upendo.
Upendo.
Tutashinda chuki tukiwa na umoja.
Umoja.
Tutashinda vita tukiwa na upendo.
Upendo.
Ukabila chuki tushinda kwa umoja.
Chuki.
Oh Kenya.
Kenya, Kenya, Kenya. wetu mpendwa, tusimame, tuungane zote, tutangaze umoja, tuungane zote, tutangaze umoja, tukatae chuki, ukabila na uchochezi. Kenya moja, nchi yangu naipenda. Kenya moja, nchi yangu naipenda. Sikukuu za madaraka tusherekee, sikukuu za madaraka tusherekee, tufurahi zote kwa maendeleo na ugatuzi, tufurahi zote kwa maendeleo na ugatuzi.
Tutashinda vita tukiwa na upendo,
upendo.
Tutashinda chuki tukiwa na umoja,
umoja.
Tutashinda vita tukiwa na upendo,
upendo.
Ukabila chuki tutashinda kwa umoja.
Chuki.
Oh, Kenya,
Kenya, Kenya, Kenya.
Churumalo.
Amani, amani tuzingatie, upendo, upendo tuzingatie, umoja, umoja tuzingatie, umoja, umoja tuzingatie. Kenya nchi yangu kweli naipenda, Kenya nchi yangu kweli naipenda.
Tutashinda vita tukiwa na upendo,
upendo.
Tutashinda chuki tukiwa na umoja,
umoja.
Tutashinda vita tukiwa na upendo,
upendo.
Ukabila chuki tutashinda kwa umoja.
Chuki.
Oh, Kenya,
Kenya, Kenya, Kenya.
Churumalo.
Muziki bila jasho.
Muziki bila jasho.
Na hiyo ngoma Kenya moja, kando na message ambayo iko hapo ya umoja, iko na beats zingine hapo za Ohangla, iko na pia energy fulani hapo.
Yeah.
Tuambie kuhusu decision yako ya kuamua nitafanya ngoma ambayo inachukua mtindo huu.
Wakati nimeandika wimbo wa Kenya moja, nilikaa chini nikaona hii wimbo naweza ileta katika mtindo gani. Nikaona mtindo wa Kiluya, nikaona hapana. Kiswahili ama gospel, nikasema hapana. Nikasema nilete katika mtindo wa Ohangla. Ohangla gospel. Unajua watu wengine siku hizi hawajui kwamba kuna kuanga na Ohangla gospel. Unajua tu Ohangla ni hizi zingine. But kuna mtindo wa Ohangla gospel. Sasa wakati nimeingia studio nikaambia producer, mimi nataka unipigie Ohangla gospel. Alipoona akasema hii ngoma itaweza. Na kweli alijaribu na ngoma ikaingia.
Ulifanya na producer mgani?
Nilifanya producer anaitwa Javan pale Kisumu.
Javan Makajudo.
Javan Makajudo ndio producer wangu.
Kijana hatari.
Kijana hatari, yeye ndio producer wangu. Yeye ndiye amefanya hiyo Kenya moja. Nilitoka hapa mpaka Kisumu na nikafanya na nikarudi.
Javan hivyo pia yeye ni msanii sio?
Pia yeye ni msanii. Najua pia kuna kitu kanaweza kuja between.
Kijana mkali.
Kijana mkali.
Na kutoka kwa hiyo ngoma, wakati ulifanya hiyo ngoma Kenya moja, reception hiyo ngoma ilisaidiaje wewe kimuziki?
Unajua hata wakati tumekuwa na competition ya Gavana Sakaja alikuwa amezindua hapa town. Wakati nimeenda kupiga hiyo wimbo ikakubalika kwa sababu ilikuwa wimbo wa taifa. Yaani ni kama kuleta taifa pamoja. Wimbo hata ukienda kuhudumu pale kwa viongozi, at least kiongozi yetu akisikia nasikia wimbo ni wa kuleta taifa pamoja, wimbo wa maombi. Unajua wachungaji pia wamekuwa wakiombea Kenya. Hata wimbo unapochezwa wanaona huu wimbo ni wa kuleta taifa pamoja.
Na wewe kuchukua mtindo wa Ohangla. Unajua Ohangla pia inakuwa associated pia na uko Nyanza. Alafu ni kutoka Western. Watu waje kuchukulia vitu tofauti.
Kuna wengine wakisikiza wanasema ndugu yangu kwani tena umeacha gospel. Kwambia this is Ohangala gospel. Unajua hata kuna pia bongo gospel, kuna nini type nyingi za gospel, lakini kuna watu pia wajajua zaidi. Ohangala gospel, kuna watu wengine walinichukulia vibaya wakasema sasa wewe vile tunakuona tunaona labda unakuja kushikana na Prince Inda. Nikamwambia hapana, this is gospel Ohangala. Unajua hata kuna wimbo wa Anastasia Mkabwa ametoa unaitwa kuna Ohangala gospel yenye Anastasia ametoa. Jina la Yesu ni dawa. Unajua kama umeusikia huu wimbo. Bado imefanywa na Javani. That is Ohangala gospel. Ni dawa. Hiyo ni Ohangala gospel. Imefanywa na Javan. Na pia kuna pia Cosmas Masamba and rafiki yangu pia amefanya Ohangala gospel. Kitu gani kitanitenga?
Hiyo pia nimesikia.
Hizo ndio zinaitwa Ohangala gospel. Unajua kuna
kama ujumbe ndani.
Kuna ujumbe ndani. Unajua pia wakati nimesikia nimefanya wimbo, nikajua wimbo Ohangala, hata ukienda huyu wimbo perform nao kule nje ya Kenya, tuseme mahali kama Nigeria kwa wazungu, wakisikia hiyo Ohangala, hata kama wasikii maneno ama wasikii language, hiyo beat itafanya mtu ule mtu hata kama alikuwa pale at least ana enjoy. Ni wimbo ambao pia ukienda nao mahali at least ni wimbo uko na message na ile nini.
Kwa hivyo
unaburudisha,
ukielimisha. Alright, na tuongelelee kuhusu projects zako. Naona kana ambayo tuko na 2.5 minutes kabla tumalize. Projects zako ambazo zinakuja, utuambie pia mipango zako ni gani, na pia watu wenye wanataka kupata wanaweza kupata vipi?
Project niko na project ambazo zinakuja. Si ati nimefanya tu muziki na nimekomea hapo. Bado naenda. Unajua mwanamuziki ni kujituma. Na at least huo kila muda at least tunaachilia kitu mpya. Ndio mashabiki wako wasiende. Niko na project ambazo zinakuja. Maybe nitakuwa naangusha collab hivi karibuni. Kwa sababu nimesema sasa next acha ikuje collab. Na pia project pale YouTube. YouTube inajulikana kama Professor Mwamba Kenya. Utaenda pale mtazamaji, ni follow pale, subscribe uweze kushare na wengine. Unajua unapo subscribe tayari ni support. Na unajua mashabiki wa Kenya hawapendi kusupport wanamuziki wa Kenya wao ndani. Wanapenda kusikiliza muziki nje. Lakini mimi nakuhimiza yule wako wa ndani ndio utaweza kumsupport. Kwa mitandao yote najulikana kama Professor Mwamba, ni follow pale, na Mungu amani pia ataweza kubariki.
Tuongelee ngoma yako mpya tukimalizia project yako mpya. Kuandika muziki, yani message ya muziki ilikuwa gani na kufikia sasa ngoma inafanyaje?
Wakati niko na ngoma mpya pale inaitwa Safari Bado. Hiyo wimbo pia kuna message ilinikujia tu. Nakasema usitendee mtu mabaya maana safari bado. Kila ambacho unafanyia mtu ama usimdhulumu mwenzako. Maana hapa duniani safari bado. Zote tunapambana polepole. Yaani hii maisha ni safari. Kuna wale walianza kina mababu bado, hii maisha ni safari, tunapambana polepole maana safari bado. Hiyo ndio message yangu. Mbona nakuachia pale Safari Bado pale YouTube. Mungu amani awabariki. Subscribe Professor Mwamba, share.
Alright, na kwa sababu umemaliza hapo ndo tunafungia show, lakini tunapiga Safari Bado ndo tunamaliza nayo. Tucheze Safari Bado, watazamaji waweze kusikia manake wataenda kuimalizia pale kwenye YouTube. Mimi ni Chris Sambo. See you next week on Friday on Kirk in the morning, same place. Different topics of discussion, different guests, but all we do is make sure your Friday is well sorted. My name is Chris Sambo. This is Kirk in the morning. See you next week on Friday, but for now tunamaliza na Safari Bado by Professor Mwamba
na Kijaluo. Unajua wengine wanashangaa Kijaluo ndugu wa Western, Kijaluo amejulia wapi? Safari Bado tutaimalizia na Kijaluo, Ohangala. Mungu amani awabariki.
Cheza Safari Bado tumalize.
Professor Mwamba. Safari Bado.